Greetings everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So I'm back again with another episode of Sunday Market Outlook. I'm gonna start off with the XYs as always, but what I can say is that most of the pound pairs are on my watch list for this week and they're at the key area, so we'll see how this week gonna provide us with opportunities. So I'm gonna start off from daily time frame, then go down to lower time frame. So as I outlined last on Wednesday, that what I'm looking for here on the XY is to see if price gonna continue push to these areas here and see if we can get some sell-off opportunities to go to the downside, or we're gonna continue pushing all the way to the upside, maybe to these highs here, or we're gonna continue pushing to the upside. So when you go to 4H, as you can see here, this after prices form this middle section here, so it's whether we're gonna form maybe something like this, then continue push to the upside. Let's see, or another scenario that I'm looking for here. Let me push this. Let me remove this red line from here. Trend line, sorry. You can see this structure that's happening here. So as you can see, maybe gonna come here and then something like this. So if we do reject from these areas and then we push lower, so if we that it will be more to the downside. As you can see, completion of this structure from, as you can see, we had 1, 2 and that touch here, so we pushed and we form some bigger structure before we continue push to the downside. So we just have to be neutral and see how market develop, then we take it from there. But overall, I'm looking more to the upside, but we'll see how price gonna develop is from around this area here. So my first pair on top 6 is CAD JPY. So I'm gonna start off here from daily. As you can see here, we've been pushing to the downside and we've broken these lows here and then we push to the upside. So what I'm looking for now is to see if we can continue push to these lows here before we commit to the upside, or we're gonna break this low, form another low here and then come back, we pull back from here and then we continue push to the downside. When you go down to where you can see what, like, as you can see what's happening here, we push and then we pull back and then we form a new low, and then look what happened, we form a bigger structure and then push to the downside, breaking this low. So same thing happened. As you can see, we push, now we form this structure and then pushing to the downside, and you can see that we already broken this low. So it's right from here, we're gonna form some structure like this and then see if we can get some opportunities to the downside. Or if we wait for a push, maybe breaking this low, and see if we can get some continuation structure from here and then take it to the downside. So that will be my scenario. And what I'm looking for is to see if, like, as you can see, you can move correctively maybe all the way to this area, and then there's a possibility that will be forming this structure, as you can see here. Then we'll be aligning some key level around here, as you can see. Then we'll see if we can take it to the upside. But I'm focusing more on the downward move, so we'll see how price gonna develop. But during the week, just that you need to be neutral and see how price is gonna develop, then take the message from the market. Moving forward from on the next pair, so my next pair on my top 6, it's euro is Canadian dollar. So when we start off from daily here, you can see, push. You can see you've been pushing to the downside, push, pull back, and then we form this low, and then price now just moving correct, as you can see, but you haven't broken this high here, as you can see. So what I'm looking for, I'm still more to the downside, like to see if we can do form a new low, breaking this low here, as you can see. So I need to go to 4H, what I'm looking for here, to see if price can complete this structure from this area, which will be 1, 2, and that touch here, and then see if we can get some opportunities to the downside. Now, our price may push maybe to break this high and then come back to form some structure here, and then we sell off. So we'll see how price gonna develop, then take it from there. But this one is shaping up nicely. We just have to wait and see how price gonna develop, especially around these areas here, as we are completing the structure. So 1, 2, 3, then see if to get some sell off opportunities. My third pair is euro JPY. So as from last week, you can see we have a nice push from here, and then we rejected from this high here, and we form like a nice double top here when you go to lower time frame. So what I'm looking for is to see if we can continue push to the downside, maybe target within these areas, or we can even break here, or maybe commit to the upside. So when you go to 4 hour, as you can see, we form this double top and then push, form this and then push. So now we're gonna break this low and then see if form some structure and continue push to the downside, or we're gonna push a little bit and then see if to get some structure that will be forming to this area, and then continue push to the downside. And what I'm also focusing on is this low, as you can see. So if price gonna move correctively like this, then I'll waiting to see how we're gonna react from here, of which we're gonna be coming to test this low here, and then continue push to the upside. So just gonna be waiting to see how price gonna react from here, but I'm more focusing on the downside than the upside. So but we'll see how price gonna develop then. And Next pair on my list is pound vs Canadian dollar. So we can see after this push, we've been moving corrective all the way to this area. So now all I'm looking for, see this high here. So I'm waiting to see if we can, price can react from this area here, or we can push to the upside for completion of the structure and then see if to get some sell-off opportunities, maybe to this low or this low. And when we go to 4H, you can see how price is developing here. So I put in a ray line here. So as you can see, form some structure and then push, then come back like so, and then push to the downside. And there's a possibility that price may push, break this high, and then come back from some structure and then push to the downside. So I'll be focusing more on how we're gonna reach this area. If we're gonna reach this area maybe in an impulsive manner, then I'll be waiting to see if we're gonna reject and then form some structure on 1H or 15 before we take it to the downside. But if you're gonna come here maybe corrective or forming a structure, then that should be a lovely setup as well. Take it to the downside. So another pair on my list it's pound Swiss. So I'm gonna start off from daily. Just to make everything clear, I mean move everything and focus on the recent structure that is forming here. This one. As you can see, you have this touch here, this touch, and then you have these two touches at the bottom. So as you can see, the overall price action has been moving correctively. So it is not similar like this one. So waiting to see if we're gonna push up until these areas here at the top, then see if we can get some sell-off opportunities around these areas. But when you go to 4H, what is happening here, as you can see, is this structure that was formed there, and you can see this area here. So it's whether we're gonna reject from here and then continue push to the downside, or maybe come all the way and then see if we can push maybe to this high and then before we sell off. As you can see, something like this, and then can even evolve some structure from here to here, which should be 1, 2, and then 3. Then see if you can get some opportunities around this area and then take it to the downside, as you can see. So that is what I'm looking for on this pair, as you can see. But as you can see from daily, with this push, and then you pull back and then you push, and then after you come back from these areas here, and then you form this structure and then you push to the downside. So it's more likely that you might continue push to the downside. So another pair on my watch is pound dollar. Like I've said in my video earlier that most of the pairs on my watch is pound pairs, so they are shaping up nicely, as you can see. And this one as well, it's whether we're gonna continue to these areas and then we sell off, or as you can see already rejected here, so whether we're gonna commit early and then push to the downside. So you can see from last week we had this structure that was forming here, and a nice double top here. So we'll see if we're gonna form some structure here and then we sell off, or gonna form some continuation structure to push to the upside and then we sell off, which would be a nice formation here. Is gonna be having 1, 2, 3 at the same time. We have 1, 2, 3. So then see if we can get some opportunities to the downside. And my last pair on my top 6 is New Zealand dollar vs Canadian dollar. This one is shaping up nice. It's just that you need to be more patient. As you can see, been pushing all the way, and what it's happening, you can see still have a bullish momentum. So we need to have a clear confirmation that we're now pushing to the downside. So we'll see if we're gonna continue all the way to this high and then see if we're gonna reject, or maybe we're gonna fill this week from here and then we sell off. So let me just go straight to one edge. As you can see what it's happening here now. We have this structure that is forming here. As you can see. So today we're gonna continue moving corrective all the way to this high, then see if get some from it, some structure that will be forming here, and then see if we can get some opportunity to the downside. Maybe first target, something like this. First target to this low and the second one to this low. If we do break here, then we might also be pushing all the way maybe to this low here, as you can see. So we just have to be patient and see how price gonna develop, but there's some more opportunities that will come up as soon as we push maybe to reject and then see if there's a change of trend. Now we're pushing to the downside. There's still more room, as you can see, from here to here. It's a big gap, so just have to wait and see how price gonna develop then. So on my wall card, there's another pound pairs already as well. Sorry. So first one here, it pound vs Japanese yen. This one it's similar to pound dollar. As you can see, we have this 0.8123, and we can overall trend, you can see been pushing to the downside, and then you come back all the way to these areas when we push. So like we're forming another structure here before we commit to the downside. So we go to 4-hour time frame. You can see our price is forming, our price is developing. So this few scenarios where they're gonna continue from here to the downside, or we're gonna feel this move from here and then we sell off. Then if we don't get those scenarios, then see if we're gonna be pushing to the upside. I'm more looking to the downside. So we'll see whether we're gonna reject from here and then continue feel this move here for completion of the structure, or we're gonna commit earlier to the downside, hitting this low or in this low here. And another pound pair as well, it's pound versus New Zealand dollar. So you can see here we have a nice push after this structure here, and it didn't have like a clear structure that formed after this nice push to the downside, and this is the only structure that is forming. So when you go to the 4H, you can see push from this corrective structure and the push, as you can see. So now what I'm looking for to see if we can form a complete structure before we continue push to the upside. And I'm aware of this low here, as you can see this low, but you can see how we rejected to it, and then look how price was forming. So even if I do take some sales here, so there's still more room to from this area to here. Already I'll be on break even if maybe price reject from this area here and then continue, then push to the upside. So it's much safer to take risk entry from here. Then by the time price will be around here, then already will be on break even. So we'll see if we're gonna get some, gonna feel this move for completion of this structure, and then see if you do get some sell off to the downside from this low. If you break here, then be pushing to more to the downside. And another pair on my lower carded New Zealand dollar versus US dollar. So what I'm looking for here is for price to continue push to the downside. As you can see, overall trend is still pushing to the downside. So as you can see here, it's gonna be forming a corrective structure before we continue push to the upside, or will be forming some structure here and then push to the downside. So when you go to 4H, you can see we push and then we reject it here nicely, and then come back for a double top here. So what I'm looking for to see if we're gonna push, maybe breaking this low, and see if we can get some structure around this area, then take it to the downside. Or maybe we can form something bigger like this, and then you can see, then we sell off again from this area to the downside. Or we can move correctively like so to this low, and then continue push to the upside. So these few scenarios that I'm looking for here. So just gonna wait and see how price gonna develop. And the last pair that I'm looking for. It's gold. So starting from here, you can see you have this push, and then you come pull back, and then push, breaking this low. So you can see now we're still more on a downtrend. So what I'm looking for now, to see if we can get a clear continuation pattern like so, and then see if we can take it to the downside. We can get some opportunities to take it to the downside. As you can see, we have a nice push after this nice structure from here. So we have this point here, 1, 2, 3, and then have this point here. So I'm waiting to see if we can come to these lows or even more low before maybe commit to the upside. No. So that's it for today, guys. So I'm gonna see you again on the next video, which will be Wednesday. Anyway, if you have some question, you can send them through on my Telegram channel, or you can comment below, then I'll get back to you. Thank you.